Well, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today. I had a little chance to talk with her. She's warm and knowledgeable and knows about relationships, which we all want to know about, right?
Right.
Just say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to introduce to you Rochelle Cook. Let's give her a big
Hello. Hello. So here for a second. Where's that little child? That's a really good example of soul in its purity. So I just get my glasses so I need to see. So how many of you are really, really, really happy in your relationship?
My dog.
There you go. That's unconditional love. And how many of you would want to be happier in your relationship? You see my husband raising his hand. And this can be really, the book is really on, relationships, but it really has to do with your child, your dog, your friend, your boss, whoever it is, and it's really about the self. So, according to yourtango.com, over 100 mental health professionals, they reached out and they realized that over 65% of marriages, they end up splitting up because they can't communicate. And I have seen in my office, there's like a trend going on here. Well, I have people that have been together for less than a year, maybe a year. They don't live together. They're not planning to get married at this point, but they're having difficulty. So they're coming to me to try to get help because they can't communicate. It's been interesting to watch. How many of you have ended a relationship or had issues around a relationship because it was difficult to communicate? All of us. It's all of us. So I know from personal experience in working with my clients that we can't have a relationship with anyone, a healthy one, unless we have one with ourselves first. It's all about ourselves. Your outer reality is a reflection of your inner reality. So whatever is going on out there, it's coming from how you think and perceive your experience. We all learn as children. What we learn as children, we become as adults, like that little child in the back, right? Our inner child rules our life. The only way to heal our inner child is to allow that child to speak and help that child rewrite their story. What were they taught? So I always say to parents, please be very careful.
We don't want to miss a word you say.
I said so loud.
Is
that better?
There's some feedback there too.
Is that better?
Yes.
We have it, you're soft spoken, so. Tommy will take care of this.
Okay. Is that better? Oh, I really am soft spoken. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. So as a child, and this is why I'm so dedicated to my work, I grew up believing that I was unworthy, and I write all about it in my book. And because of my beliefs, I attracted the person that resembled how I felt about myself, which we all do. Whenever anything is going on, instead of playing the blame game and pointing your finger, you really want to say, I'm upset because it all has to do with you. So what I had to do is I had to do my homework, and I had to really change my perception and change who I felt, the way I felt about myself. And I really want to make sure everybody hears that, because it really comes to you. And it also has to do with, and I can't help myself, what you teach your child. 16 months ago, I was minding my own business. My practice was thriving. I had my own TV show about ready to happen. Everything was just great. And thank God my daughter came home. I was on the bathroom floor, called the paramedics. I had a ruptured brain aneurysm in the cerebellum. And it's been difficult. It's been brutal, horrible, terrible, awful. I cannot tell you how this 16-month recovery has completely changed my life, and I'm grateful that my husband in back of the room nursed me back to health, because without him, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done. And he put all of his, I'll just say everything aside to help me. I know, it was terrible.